This is why we keep you around. No. I have the one from my mailbox.
Yeah.
I know you always print them when you get here, so I figure when you send them, it's not worth, because then if there's changes, I will just mix them up.
Yeah. Yep.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
We are so glad that you all could join us tonight. I know at least when I was out earlier today, it was quite cold and kind of yucky. So assuming it is still that way, congratulations on braving midwinter weather. I hope all of you picked up a prayer book and a song sheet on the way in. If not, feel free to go grab one of those. And let's take a moment to say hello to those around us. And we will begin together with Pure Heart on our song sheets.
Create a pure heart in me, great Spirit. Create a pure heart in me. Create a pure heart in me, great Spirit. Create a pure heart in me, and renew a true soul within me, and renew a true soul within, and renew a true soul within me, and renew a true soul within. Create a pure heart in me, great Spirit. Create a pure heart in me. Create a pure heart in me, great Spirit. Create a pure heart in me, and renew a true soul within me, and renew a true soul within, and renew a true soul within me, and renew a true soul within. We continue singing together the words of Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, Olam Chesed Yibaneh, Olam Chesed Olam Chesed I will build this world from love. And you must build this world from love. And if we build from love. Yadadai, 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 yadai. Yadadai, 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 yadai. Yadadai, 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 yadai.
As we look to page 2 in our prayer book for our candle blessing, I look to you for a volunteer because Carol is not here. But I got the match lit on the second try.
Very proud of you.
It's better than that time I almost set the candle blessing on fire. Yeah, you were singing. You missed that.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you.
We continue together with our service on page 20 with the words of Lecha Dodi, and we will sing in our prayer book verses 1, 2, 5, and 9.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamu v'zachu b'dibur echad. Yishmi'anu el ha'miuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat
We turn together to page 26. Yitkadash miraba Belma divrachute v'yamlich malchute Bechayechon uvyomechon uvchayet kol bet Yisrael Bagala Bagala uvizman kariv v'yimeru Amen Yehei Shmei Rabba mevarach Le'alam ulal me'al maya Yitbarach Yitbarach Vishtabach Vitbahar Vitromam Vitnasi Vitadar Vitale Vitalal Shemir Kudesha Lahel Mikol Berchata V'Shirata Tush Bechata V'Nechemata Damiran Be'alma V'Yimeru Amen. Please rise if you are able as we turn together to page 28. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Vaed.
On page 30, Baruch Ata Adonai, Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Asher Bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim, Bechochma Poteach She'arim, Uvitbuna Mishanei Itim, Umachalif et Hasmanim, Umisader et HaKochavim, B'mishmerotehem Barakia Kirtzono, Borei Yom Valayla, Golel Or Mipnei Choshech, V'choshech Mipnei Or, Uma'avir Yom Umevi Laila, Umavdil Ben Yom Uvein Laila, Adonai Tzevaot Shemo, El Chai V'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Leolam Va'ed, Baruch Ata Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 33. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch Ata Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated. We turn together to page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם ושבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי V'tem kadoshim l'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, v'hiyot lechem l'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Elohechem emet. We pray together on page 38. All this we hold to be true and trustworthy for us. You alone are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You are our sovereign and Savior, who delivers us from oppressors' hands and saves us from tyrants' fists. You work wonders without number, marvels beyond count. You give us life and steady our footsteps. You performed miracles for us before Pharaoh, signs and wonders in the land of the Egyptians. You led your people Israel out from their midst to freedom for all time. When your children witnessed your dominance, they praised your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices joyously.
Kivada Adonai et Yaakov, ugalo miyad chazach mimenu. Baruch ata Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. We continue together with words on page 43 and 42.
Understanding among us, let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us, let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Ashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Ashkivenu, L'Shalom. Ve'amidenu, Shomreinu, Salenu Sukat Shlomecha Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Ashkivenu L'Shalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. On page 45, we are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable, without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we turn to page 46.
Adonai sefati tiftach ufi agid ilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu v'Imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imot, U'mevii Geula Livnei V'neihem, Le'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Hoseh U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol atah Rav L'Hoshia, Mashiv HaRuach u'Morid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim b'Chesed, Mechayei HaKol b'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim v'Rofeh Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayem Emunato v'Shenei Afar, V'Chamocha Ba'al Gevurot, U'Midol Melach, Melech Memit U'Mechayei, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, V'Ne'aman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, B'chol yom v'sim b'chol yom halelucha selha, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
You may be seated.
We look to the words at the top of page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. And may all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mikadesh HaShabbat.
Ritzei, Ritzei, Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amecha Yisrael, U'tefilatam, Be'avat tekabel.
page 58. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God, and the God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one whose mercies never end, O compassionate one whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hato shimecha ulecha na'eh lehodot. On 61. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael, bashalom.
We now take a moment for silent prayer and private meditation.
And my Redeemer, you ratzon
Invite you to rise as you are able as we turn to our Torah service, page 244.
Ein kamocha Elohim Adonai ve'en kemasecha malchutcha malchut kol olamim umemsharcha bechol dor vador Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai yimloch leolam vaed Adonai hoz le'amo yitin Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah urevar Adonai mirushalayim Baruch shenatan Torah Torah Baruch shenatan Torah Torah le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shmo Gadol Adonai iti U'mama Shemo Yachtav Lecha Adonai Hagedula Hagevura Hatiferet Ve'anitzach Ve'aod Ki kol Bashamayim Uvaretz Ki kol Bashamayim Uvaretz Lecha Adonai HaMamlacha Ve'abinasi Lechol Erosh Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'yishachavu le'ad kodsho Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'yishachavu le'ad kodsho Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'yishachavu le'ad kodsho Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'yishachavu le'ad kodsho
Let's see, you wrote it down. I didn't look at it. I'm trusting you. Say, I'm very grateful that Rita will be rendering Torah and offering the Devar tonight. And
Okay, I'll be reading from it's Parashat Vayeshev, and The portion deals mostly with it's the beginnings of the story of Joseph and his whole saga, but the part that I will be reading from, which is chapter 38, verses 6 to 26, is sort of a story that's inset in the whole Joseph story, and it's about Judah and Tamar. And it begins, as I'll be beginning, chapter 38, verse 6, which begins on page 250. Make sure I've got it here. I did roll it to the right place the other day.
It's in Genesis, so it doesn't always stay there.
That's true. Let's see. Oh, is it on this? Okay, let's see. Let's see. There it is. Okay. Are you
I was just going to hold the scroll if you wanted.
okay? No, I was going to ask if you were calling anybody to do the
Right, the blessing.
Yes.
That's what you're asking.
Yes. Okay.
I got you. So it is, I'm going to steal the microphone. It is the third Friday of the month, which means if there's anybody who would like to come forward for an extra special blessing, whether or not you do the Torah blessings, I will bribe you with chocolate if you are celebrating a birthday, an anniversary, or anything else this month. So it's good you chose to do this in December. We'll still do the blessings together, so that's not the scary part. Rita says it's your anniversary, so you got to come up, Harry. This is reminding me of another time that there was a certain anniversary. And so we'll join together on page 250. You want a prayer book? Details. Said you didn't have to say anything. Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach, Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. And now Torah reading.
Amen. ויקח יהודה אישה לער בכורו ושמה תמר ויהי ער בכור יהודה רע בעיני אדוני וימיתהו אדוני ויאמר יהודה לאונן בוא אל אשת אחיך ויבם אותה והקם זרח לאחיך וידע אונן כי לא יהיה הזרע והיה אם בא אל אשת אחיו ושיחת ארצה לבלתי נתן זרע לאחיו וירא בעיני אדוני אשר עשה וימת גם אותו ויאמר יהודה לתמר כלתו שבי אלמונה בית אביה עד יגדל שלה בני כי אמר פן ימות גם הוא כאחיו. ותלך תמר, ותשב בית אביה. וירבו הימים, ותמת בת שוע אשת יהודה, וינחם יהודה ויעל על גזזי זונו, הוא והירא רעהו האדומי תמנתה. ויגד לתמר לאמור, הנה הומיך עולה תמנתה לגוז צונו, ותסר בגדי אלמנתה מעליך, ותחר בצעיף ותתעלף, ותשב בפתק עיניים אשר על דרך תמניתה. כי ראתה כי גדל שלה, והיא לא ניתנה לו לאישה. וירא יהודה ויחשבהו לזונה כי כסתה פניך. Vayet aleha el haderek vayomer. Hava na avo alayich, ki lo yada ki kalatohi. Vatomer, ma titenli ki tavo alai. Vayomer anochi shalach eshalach gadi izim min hatzon. Vatomer, im titen eravon ad shalachecha. Vayomer, ma ha'eravon asher eten lach. Vatomer, chotamcha ufti lecha umatech asher beyadecha. Vayiten la vayavo alayha. Yes.
I can get that out.
Thank you. All right.
I'm realizing that was line of sight.
But harlo, v'takam v'telech v'tzar tza'ifa me'alecha v'talvash b'yidei almanutaha v'yishlach Yehuda et gadi ha'izim b'yad re'echu ha'adulami לקחת הערבון מיד האישה ולא מצאה. וישאל אל אנשי מקומה לאמור, איה הקדשה ההיא בעיניים על הדרך. ויאמרו, לא הייתה בזה קדשה. וישב אל יהודה ויאמר לו, מצאתיה, וגם אנשי המקום אמרו, לא הייתה בזה קדשה. ויאמר יהודה, תיקח לה פן נהיה לבוז. הנה שלחתי הגדי הזה, ואתה לא מצאת. ויהי כמשלוש חדשים, ויגד ליהודה לאמור, זנתה תמר כלתך. וגם הנה הרע לזנונים, ויאמר יהודה, הוציאוה ותפרף. היא מוצאת והיא שלחה אל הומיכה לאמור, לאיש אשר עלה לו אנוכי הרע, ותאמר, הכר נא למי החותמת והטילים והמטה האלה. ויקר יהודה ויאמר, צדקה ממנו, כי על כן לא נתתיה לשלח בני, ולא יוסף עוד לדתה.
Our blessing after. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. You are fine. With the Torah in our midst, to offer a Misha Berach for those with birthdays, anniversaries, or things they are celebrating. Misha Berach Avotenu v'Imotenu, may the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless those who have been called to Torah in honor of their birthdays and anniversaries. On this special occasion, may they be surrounded by love and joy of family and friends, celebrating the gift of life and the milestones they have achieved. May they be blessed with happiness, health, and fulfillment in the year to come. As they reflect on the past year, may they cherish the memories created and look forward with hope and excitement for what lies ahead. May their days be filled with laughter, their hearts with gratitude, and their lives with the blessings of peace and harmony. Grant them strength and resilience to meet life's challenges, and may the joy they bring to others be returned to them many times over. And let us say, Amen. and that sweetness should come. Chocolate. It's the best kind of currency here at Temple. And anybody who's spent time in our office knows that. That's from the bar mitzvah. I can go grab you some more. I'll give you a minute to breathe. Once I find my fingers. We also think of those who are being held captive with the words of the Achenu prayer. This is not in your prayer book. Our God, the one who raised Joseph up from the pit, be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble. Send complete rescue and full redemption to all those held captive by the enemy. Strengthen their spirit and bring them our prayers, that they be protected from all harm. Implant understanding in the heart of the enemy, that they may return the captives in wholeness of body and spirit. Grant wisdom to the IDF, that they may secure freedom for the captives without loss of life. Grant strength of spirit and courage of heart to all the sons and daughters of Abraham, Sarah, and Hagar, to release bonds of captivity and allow us all to live in freedom. From Psalm 91, they shall call upon me, and I will answer them. I will be with them in distress. I will rescue them and honor them. We take a moment also to name in our hearts and aloud those who are facing illness. As a congregation, we pray for healing of mind, body, and spirit, especially this Shabbat, for Johanna Smith, Julie Bainbridge, Chaim Simcha ben Moshe Umiriam Devora, Augustine Green, Maureen Baumgren, Binyamina Bat Shalva Ve'adam, Tim Holman, Jim Locke, Jordan Arms, Ella Dubrow, Jeremy Watts, Brandon Watts, Bert Seidel, Bruce Brenner, Barb Gronenfeld, Isaac Spicer, David Hernandez, Norman and Carol Leist, Andy Leifheit, Rob Mandel, Ken Rosenzweig, Kyle Creeder, Anna Pullman Garcia, Bobby DeSalvo, Justin Zeisloft, Natalie Katz, Casimira Cairo, Mariah Strickland, Eileen Eady, Catherine Cooper, Sid Gross, Cicely Nathan, and Gary Pacernick. There are other names that we ought add to our prayer. I invite you to share them aloud. With them in mind, we turn to page 253 in our prayer books.
Find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu bekor habracha. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shema, the renewal of body
Baruch atah Adonai, Rofeh HaCholim. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings healing to those in need. We look to the words on the facing page 252, and rise as you are able as the Torah is lifted. And Stephen, could I be so kind as to have you help dress the Torah?
וזאת התורה ששם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה.
You may be seated.
I just realized that we didn't read the translation. Is there somebody who would like to read the translation?
Yes, I'm not the only one who forgets the translation sometimes.
I'm looking at Linda because I know she would love to read the translation, right?
Isn't it so much fun to do that?
Yes. Page 250. I went from verse 6 to verse 26. Verse 6 to 26.
Here, you can use this.
Thank you. Judah now took a wife for Er, his firstborn. Her name was Tamar. But Er, Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Eternal, and the Eternal brought about his death. Judah then said to Onan, "Couple with your brother's wife, unite with her, and raise up offspring for your brother." But Onan knew that the offspring would not be his, so whenever he coupled with his brother's wife, he would waste his seed on the ground, in order not to produce offspring for his brother. What he did was wicked in the sight of the Eternal, who brought about his death as well. Judah then said to his daughter-in-law Judah, "Stay as a widow in your father's house until my son Shelah grows up." He thought lest he too die like his brothers. So Tamar went and stayed in her father's house. Time passed, and Shua's daughter, Judah's wife, died, and after Judah was consoled, he went up to his sheep shearers, he and his friend Hirah, the Adulamite, toward Timnah. When Tamar was told, "Look, your father-in-law is going up toward Timnah to shear his sheep," she discarded her widow's garb, covered herself up with a veil, wrapped herself up, and stationed herself at the entrance to Enam on the way to Timnah. For she saw that Shelah had grown up, yet she had not been given to him as a wife. When Judah saw her, he took her for a prostitute, for she had covered her face. So he turned toward her on the road and said, "Pray let me couple with you." He was not aware that she was his daughter-in-law, and she said, "What will you give me to couple with me?" He replied, "I will send you a kid from the flock." But she said, "Only if you give me a pledge until you send it." He asked, "What sort of pledge should I give you?" She then said, "Your signet seal, your cord, and the staff in your hand." So he gave them to her and coupled with her, and she became pregnant by him. When he got up and left, she discarded her veil and put on her widow's garb. But when Judah sent the kid by way of his Adulamite friend to redeem the deposit from the woman, he did not find her. And when he asked the people of her place, "Where is that courtesan, the one of the crossroads?" they replied, "There wasn't any courtesan here." He then returned to Judah and said, "I did not find her. Moreover, the people of the place said, 'There never has been a courtesan here.'" Judah then said, "Let her keep it, lest we become a laughingstock. I did send this kid, though you could not find her." Then, after about 3 months, Judah was told, "Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has played the whore, and now she has even become pregnant by whoring." And Judah said, "Bring her out and let her be burned." Brought out she was, but she sent to her father-in-law, saying, "The man to whom these belong made me pregnant. Acknowledge whose signet seal, cords, and staff these are." Do you want me to stop there or keep going? The mystery abounds.
Let's keep going.
Judah recognized them and said, "She is more in the right than I, for certainly I did not give her to my son Shelah," and he never touched her again.
My favorite sidebar to the story of Tamar concerns the writer Dorothy Parker, who named her parakeet Onan because he spilled his seed on the ground. Yeah. It is easy to get a laugh out of Onan, whose name has become remembered chiefly as a synonym for autoeroticism. It is easy to picture any of the central characters as guests on a biblical version of the Jerry Springer show. Tamar in "I slept with my father-in-law because my brother-in-law refused to impregnate me." Judah on "The Double Standard." He hires a prostitute but threatens to burn his daughter-in-law alive for harlotry. Onan on "I refuse to be an uncle to my own child." And let's not forget Judah's poor unnamed wife on "I'm tired of playing second fiddle to my husband and my father. Doesn't anybody remember my name?" The moral questions played out in this story seem so far removed from today's norms and expectations as to be practically incomprehensible to us. Central to the story is the traditional obligation of the levirate marriage, an obligation which winds up victimizing not only Tamar, but Judah and Onan as well. Levirate marriage, in Hebrew yibum, was an ancient custom before the Torah was written. It can be viewed as a vestigial form of polyandry. In some ancient tribes, it was custom for a woman to be married to several brothers at one time. A woman was acquired for a household, not for a particular husband. To the Israelites, this was highly immoral. Women had to be monogamous, although men could have as many wives as they liked. However, marriage still brought a woman into a family. Her well-being and her position in the community emanated from her husband. In Deuteronomy, the rules of the Yibum are set forth, and I quote, "When brothers dwell together, and one of them dies and leaves no son, the wife of the deceased shall not be married to a stranger outside the family. Her husband's brother shall unite with her, take her as his wife, and perform the levir's duty. The first son that she bears shall be accounted to the dead brother, that his name not be blotted out in Israel." Duty to the dead brother is the primary reason for the levirate marriage offered by the Torah, but the custom also recognizes a duty towards the widow. Like many Jewish traditional practices, it is born of an understanding of the dependent role of women in the patriarchal society. A widow needs to be protected. Her status comes from her husband or her husband's clan. Once a woman has borne a child for that clan, she has a permanent connection to it and is honored and protected by it. Jewish tradition recognized the inherent sexism of the world in which it arose. In a variety of ways, Jewish law and custom strove to protect women who lacked the protection of a husband or father. But it was not able or willing to take that giant step, accepting women as equal to men and thereby dispensing with the need for special protection. By making one person's status dependent on her relationship with another person, both parties, the dominant as well as the dependent one, are forced into boxes that constrain their ability to achieve many kinds of personal fulfillment. It holds true not only when genders are assigned narrowly defined roles, but in any form of caste system. While we have legally moved beyond most gender-based and race-based restrictions, society continues to present us with designated boxes for each of us to fill. Some of our political leaders speak of black jobs and assume that Latinos desire nothing more than to be migrant fruit pickers. Gender and gender identity are still assumed by many to determine career paths and abilities. And any woman who has been accompanied by her husband when buying insurance or a new car has surely experienced the salesperson's assumption that hubby will be making the decisions and he's the one to talk to. I know I have, right? Okay. The laws of levirate marriage assured that a woman would not be cast out homeless and penniless just because her husband had died. In an era of arranged marriages, the fact that she was not allowed to choose her next spouse probably was not regarded as the gross impediment to happiness that it would be today. So what went wrong for Judah's family? When it comes to creating boxes for fallible, emotional human beings, one size does not fit all. Onan was forced into a marriage that was against his will. He had no desire to father his brother's child or to uncle his own offspring, so he denied Tamar the child that would have secured her future. Judah had lost 2 sons in fairly rapid succession. While demonizing Tamar as the cause of their deaths was unjust and uncalled for, it's a common enough response of a bereaved parent to cast around for someone to blame. Consigning Tamar to a permanent state of bondage as a levirate widow, not a wife, but unable to marry or live independently, must have seemed like a reasonable price for keeping Shelah out of her deadly grasp. So Tamar was returned to her father's house, quote, until Shelah grows up, allowing Judah to conveniently forget about her without feeling too guilty. It was only through disguising herself as a prostitute and seducing her father-in-law that Tamar was able to attain what was rightfully hers, a position of honor within Judah's family. Amazingly, the rabbis have nothing but praise for Tamar, despite her connivance at what was considered adultery and incest. She was acting with Ruach HaKodesh, the spirit of holiness, as is shown by the fact that one of the twins that was born to her became an ancestor of David and hence the Messiah. As a modern woman, I can admire Tamar's willingness to risk disgrace and even death in order to establish her rights. I can also, like the rabbis, appreciate the tact with which she exposed Judah. Rather than publicly shaming him, she sent him the proof of the baby's paternity in private. Excuse me. As Judith Antonelli points out in her feminist commentary on the Torah, Judah, too, is praised for being a mensch in the end. It's not easy to admit you're wrong. In a patriarchal society in which Judah lived, it was even less easy for a man to acknowledge that a woman, a dependent, was more righteous than he. So Tamar has her babies and her rights, and Judah has learned an important lesson. Happy ending? No, not really. Although Tamar is now assured the place of honor and security within Judah's clan, she is still caught in the limbo of being a husbandless wife. She cannot marry, and we've already learned what the penalty would be if she took a lover. And let's not forget Onan, whose punishment for refusing to play according to the rules was death. The Torah itself recognizes Onan's feelings, and later on in Deuteronomy provides for chalitza, a way out for a man who does not want to marry his sister-in-law. And here I'll quote, "If a man does not want to marry his brother's widow shall appear before the elders in the gate and declare, 'My husband's brother refuses to establish a name in Israel for his brother. He will not perform the duty of a levir.' The elders of the town will then summon him and talk to him. If he insists, saying, 'I do not want to marry her,' his brother's widow shall go up to him in the presence of the elders, pull the sandal off his foot, spit in his face, and make this declaration, 'Thus shall be done to the man who will not build up his brother's house, and he shall go in Israel by the name of the family of the unsandaled one.'" Humiliating as this is for everybody involved, it's still a way out. The woman has no such escape mechanism available to her. Even in the days of the Talmud, the rabbis were troubled by this. Talmudic law demands that a woman consent to her marriage. They dealt with this issue the way they dealt with so many other troublesome Torah laws. They added restriction upon restriction to the requirements for a yibum, making it more and more difficult for it to take place. Later, rabbis shifted the emphasis to chalitza, making it the norm instead of the exception. In 1950, finally, the chief Ashkenazic rabbi of Israel outlawed levirate marriage. 1950, guys. Okay. In the book The Bedside Torah, Rabbi Bradley Shavit Artson uses the history of the levirate marriage to demonstrate the dynamic evolutionary quality of Jewish law. He's right, of course. Jewish law has continually evolved and to meet the needs of a changing world. However, the insistence that chalitza replace yibum and the elimination of the more humiliating aspects of the ritual, the woman now spits toward the man, not upon him, do not alter do not alter the underlying problem. As long as one group of people is defined only by its relationship to another group, people will be forced into boxes that limit their actions, stifle their emotional growth, and prevent them from using their God-given talents. Within the Jewish world and the greater community, we must strive for equality. As humans, as Jews, we are all interdependent, but each of us possesses basic human rights that should not be dependent solely on our connection to another person or family. May we recognize both the equality and the uniqueness of every human being.
I'd say I could give you a second chocolate bar for doing the Devar too, but you just talked about equality. Such wonderful words. Very well done. As we look back towards our prayer books, I invite you to turn to page 256 and rise if you are able as we return our Torah to the Ark. 256.
It's Chaimi, Lama Chazikim Ba, V'tomcheha, Meushar, Derachea, Darchinom, V'chon Netivotea, Shalom, Hashiviru, Adonai Elecha, V'nashuva, Chadish, Yaminu Kekedem, Chadish, Yaminu Kekedem.
We turn together to page 282 for the words of Aleinu.
Page 288. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give to me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds, Look for me in the people I've known or loved, and if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. At this time, we think of our loved ones whom death has taken from us recently. As a congregation, we are in a period of Shiva for Frida Bloom, Lucille Forshee, and Michael Jerdier, and a period of Shloshim for Cynthia Weston. We recall those who died at this season in years past, with the yahrzeits, the anniversaries of the passing of Murray Altshuler, Sylvia Bierman, Joseph Bettman, Herman D. Bloom, John Bradenbach, Harriet T. Klein, Norman Cohen, Esther Daner, Charles R. Dorfman, Muriel Feldstein, Sam Goodman, Ronald Bell, James Grant, Rose Brusk Gross, James Gwaltney, Ray Herman, Jenny Lehman, Rose P. Leon, Herman Levy, Ida Levine, Ida Levy, Newman Mayman, Vivian Mann, Florine A. Margolis, Jacob Mayerson, Matilda Moltz, Elaine Sis E. Office, Jeanette Lehman Patterson, Sidney Peerless, Darren Pinsker, David Racketon, Max C. Rosen, May R. Rosensweet, Tina Rosenthal, Lester G. Rothenberg, Fanny Salmon, Jack Seidel, Nathan Sanders, Abe W. Schulman, Ted Shaman, Esther Sobel, Irving I. Stein, Philip Taxman, Patricia Thompson, Rebecca Tiber, Susan Walsh, Donald E. Webb, Joanne Weinberger, Sidney Weiner, and Ray Zapin. If there are other names that ought to be added or pronounced more correctly, I invite you to add them. Invite those in mourning or remembering to rise first, so we join them standing as one community in strength and support. The words of Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman kariv, v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach, le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitramam, v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemei dekudesha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'alma, v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Osei shalom v'imrumav, huya asei shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Zikronam livracha, that their memory should always and only be a blessing.
You may be seated. We will conclude our service singing the words of Biado, which can be found at the bottom of your song sheet. Biado of Kiruchi, Shan ve'ahira ve'im ruchi v'viati Adonai li ve'lo ira ve'im ruchi
Shabbat Shalom. I
Shabbat
hope you will join us
Shalom.
in the hall for Kiddush and Motzi and a little bit of Anash.
Shabbat Shalom.